Welcome back. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Okita Talks. Today, we're going to be watching a few videos and we're going to react to them. One video in particular is going to be a lady. She's going to be speaking about marriage and how she felt during her marriage. Another is I'm going to show a number of videos today, and I want you guys to see what it looked like for some of the women who unfortunately weren't able to make it to the other side of ending a relationship and being able to respectfully move on after speaking and expressing their desire to end a relationship with a man. So let's jump into the first video, guys, and we'll react.
I hate being fucking married. I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stay and stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, there's some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married. A lot of it. I just try my hardest not to put it out there. And I'm still not going to go into details.
That's good.
But just know that this shit is not fucking gold.
And it's not
And no matter how much I try, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, I still just want the fuck out. I want to be single. I know I can love myself better alone than anybody can love me with them. I love who I am, but I do not love who I am with this person. I hate being fucking married. And all my life, once this shit is over, I would never fucking get married again.
Watching this video broke my heart and for many different reasons. I've heard this narrative from so many women who are married that they just do not like who they are during their marriage or throughout their relationship. Like it changes them into this dark, sad, depressed person, even. And it's just so sad just watching someone disappear into a relationship all for the benefit of a man. And the worst part about it is these men act like they don't see you just fading away. You lose pieces of yourself to maintain the facade of a relationship, and they pretend as if they don't even see you just withering away in front of their very eyes. Let's jump into the second video.
Sorry, I heard some of y'all didn't get the memo, so I'm here to just, reiterate it. These niggas are narcissists! Run! Run for your life! They're trying to take your light! It's fuel! They're vampires! They're fucking vampires! Run! Oh my god, the devil's in your house! Run!
She said they're vampires. They're trying to take your light for fuel. Run, run, run for your life. The next portion of my video, we're gonna get into some true crime life stories. And these are very sad and unfortunate events that took place as a result of ending relationships with a man. One ranged from 18 months of dating, another goes up to 20 years of marriage. And unfortunately, some of these women did not make it out. So let's jump into the videos.
Do it for your kids.
Idma Denise says the loss of her daughter Julie Cruz and 3 grandchildren, 11-year-old Zion, almost 3-year-old Nova, and 2-year-old Emery, has been unbearable.
My daughter and my grandkids were my oxygen, so right now it's hard to breathe.
Denise says Zion died trying to protect his siblings. As Denise copes with his tragedy, she remains at the hospital tending to her 8-year-old granddaughter, Phoenix Solomon, who was a lone survivor. Police say 34-year-old Stephen McKenzie is the shooter who also turned the gun on himself. He died in the hospital almost 5 days later. He was in a relationship with Cruz and was a father of Emery and Nova. Denise tells us McKenzie psychologically abused her daughter, and she was in the process of leaving him.
She called me on Tuesday that she was going to leave him. On Wednesday, I did not get to speak to her. and that's when it happened.
Sybil Rivera says she used to teach the two toddlers, Nova and Emery.
Their dad always came and nothing seemed odd. I mean, like, we knew that they were separated. We knew that something was going on, but nothing like this.
Denise had this plea to anyone suffering from domestic violence.
Please leave. Do it for your kids.
Irma Denise says the loss of her daughter, Julie Cruz,
Watching this video made me really think about the messages that I've always heard from older women growing up. When you are leaving these men, do not give them any real warning that you are going to leave. She told her mother on Tuesday she was leaving. Wednesday, she wasn't heard from. Just like that. And her babies, toddlers, he did this too with absolutely no qualm about it. Then turned it on himself, which to me is just like, why even get anybody else involved? Clearly, you were the only one ready to go. But let's get into another video.
Former soldier Cal Clifford has been found guilty of raping his ex-girlfriend during a 4-hour attack in which he killed her mother, and her sister. Clifford previously admitted to slaughtering her mother with a 10-inch knife before shooting his former partner and her sister with a crossbow at their home last year. New footage shows the crossbow killer sobbing while questioned by police. Clifford became enraged when his 25-year-old ex-girlfriend Louise ended their 18-month relationship, leading him to carefully plan their murders. The ex-soldier was seen buying rope and petrol cans days before he travelled 20 miles across North London to their home. Clifford had been unable to accept that Louise dumped him because of his offensive and belittling behaviour that troubled friends and family. Today, he refused to attend trial, and in just 45 minutes, the jury unanimously found him guilty of rape in an act of spite.
You've just killed 3 people and you stroll away like you're going down the shops. It wasn't a crime of passion, it wasn't a loss of control. You didn't go to the address and all of a sudden form this intent to kill Carol, kill Louise, kill Hannah. You'd gone there with that sole intention in mind. You went there, the CCTV footage shows throughout that you are cool, you're calm, you're collected, you're considered. There is nothing about that which suggests that you've gone there for anything else than to kill almost an entire family.
Now, I pulled up some of the comments and I left them on the screen because I know a lot of us have heard the narrative, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she just say no? This is how it often goes when you leave them. This was an 18-month relationship. 18 months. This man unalived her, her sister, and her mother for her leaving him for his constant disrespect. Constant disrespect. How dare you leave me? You can't make this stuff up. 18 months. You didn't even know this girl. And you took so much away from her family you didn't even know. And had the nerves to say he loved her. She was his everything. We're going to get into another one, and this one I will warn you, it's
What do you want to do? What do you want me to do? All right, I'm in contact with female. What's wrong?
He shot my family!
What do you mean he shot your family? Stay right here. All right, she's telling me he's just shot her family. Stay right there. Thank you. Where's he at? Over where?
Over there.
Where?
He's running. He's running.
She's saying he's running northbound. I'm trying to get more information. Yeah, that car just comes southbound right there. Check the street. I'm trying to get one. What's he look like?
Joseph Costarina.
Well, what's he wearing?
He's wearing a gray sweater. I don't know. He wanted to kill me too, but he didn't have no more bullets.
Okay, you gotta come back over here. I want you to sit right here. Sir.
Oh, no. My dad! Mariana! The girls!
What girls?
They're in the room. I don't know.
Okay, stay here. I need you to stay here.
The girls.
I might have some girls inside. Some taller females. I want you to stay here.
I'm sorry, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. My phone.
I know. I want you to take.
I can't breathe.
Just roll this way and get victim services rolling, please. I know. I know. I need you just to relax for me, okay? I know. I need you to relax for me, okay?
I was telling them to hurry up.
I know.
I was telling her to hurry up.
I know.
We always called you guys. Always called you guys about him. Always coming here, doing this and that. You guys don't arrest him. The dad, the dad and the mom always bails him out. It's always the same shit. What the? I just couldn't believe it.
I know.
This video makes me cry every time I watch it. And I wanted you guys to pay very close attention to the end when she says, I called you guys. We called you guys all the time. We told you he would always come here. Either they wouldn't arrest him, or when they did, his parents would bail him out. But no one ever actually kept him. At one point, he held her in a vehicle at point, literally held her hostage for hours. They let him right out. This happened the day after she moved out and left him and moved in with her parents with their kids. CPS ended up getting involved and took the children from her. And the day after their children were removed, he came to their parents' house, hid in her closet, and after she opened her closet door and saw his keys, his jacket, and just a few of his things that she knew weren't there before her and her family had went out that evening, by the time she found his things, she heard a shot go off. She called 911. The beginning of the video was where she was actually on the phone with the 911 representative telling her what she's hearing. She's describing it to her. And at one point, she ends up running into the bathroom and locks the door because I think she heard him coming upstairs. And he is heard telling her she's next, and asking her what is she expecting to do? Like, this is it, like, as if he had no other choice. Luckily, he ran out of bullets, and she ran out of the house, and that's when I cut the video and you saw her running out, and she ran to the police at that point. But hearing her screams is absolutely horrifying to me. And this is a girl, this is a family who has called the police numerous times. He has stalked them. This went on for months. She called repeatedly. He had a protective order on him. She put everything in place. Nothing was done. And now her family is gone. And one of the girls she was referring to was her twin sister. She lost her twin sister in this as well. She a lot. This video is absolutely terrifying to me, and my heart goes out to her. It's just tragic. I do have another video I want to share with you guys. This is just this. It's just really sad to know that ending a relationship is so dangerous. This is the mother of your children, and just breaking up just isn't an option. It's really sad to me. I'm at a total loss. Every time I see this video, it chokes me up. So let's get into another video.
This man killed his fiancée 2 days before their wedding. Molly Watson was a proud, self-proclaimed geek. She was very much herself. She liked being unique and different. She wasn't afraid to be an individual, which I think is a really great quality. She was also crazy smart and successful. She had 2 degrees, a bachelor's and a master's in psychology, and was going towards a second master's degree, which is just insanely impressive. Molly got married very young and unfortunately did go towards divorce, but while she was divorcing her ex-husband, Molly found out that she was pregnant with their son. Molly still went forward with the divorce anyways, and she was ready to start this new life. She ended up getting a new job, and it was at that new job she met one of her coworkers, this man named James Addy. James was 16 years older than Molly, but there was an instant connection and the two started dating. At the time that James and Molly met, James was in the middle of divorcing his soon-to-be ex-wife. It was taking a while because they had 2 kids together. People in Molly's life said they never saw her more happy and in love than she was with James. The 2 of them seemed like a good couple. They were really into each other, but those closest to Molly did not like James. They never did. They said there was something off about him. In October of 2017, James was officially divorced from his ex-wife, and after 7 long years of dating, James and Molly got engaged. This would be James's 5th marriage. This was the happiest time in Molly's life, planning this wedding. She was so excited, so happy. She got a wedding planner, she went dress shopping, but only 2 months later, something awful happened. James's ex-wife Melanie, who he just divorced, got in this terrible car accident. She was in critical condition and on life support. It really wasn't looking good, but James and Molly decided to still go forward with their wedding as planned. The location was already booked. The date was already set for April 29th, 2018. And then only 1 week before James and Molly's wedding, James's ex-wife Melanie passed away. But they were still gonna go forward with the wedding. It was only 7 days away at this point. And then on April 25th, James and Molly went and got their marriage license. Molly Watson is only 4 days away from her fairy tale wedding and marrying the love of her life. Or so she thought. Because only 2 days later, on April 27th, 2018, only 2 days before what was supposed to be James and Molly's wedding, Molly Watson was found dead on an isolated dirt back road. She had been shot in the back of the head. Molly's car was parked near her body, so the first responding officers thought at first that maybe this was a robbery gone wrong. But Molly was still wearing her engagement ring, so it didn't make sense that this would be a robbery gone wrong because you'd expect a thief to steal something expensive like an engagement ring. James and Molly's marriage license was still in the front seat of Molly's car, so the first responding officers now realize that they have to go and tell Molly Watson's fiance that his bride has been murdered 2 days before their wedding. The police went to the home of James Addy to tell him the tragic news, but what they got was the shock of a lifetime. Because guess who opened the door? James's dead ex-wife Melanie, who was very much not dead and was still married to James. And if you're confused, imagine how confused Melanie and the police were. The police were there to talk to Molly Watson's fiance, and what they found was his wife, who was supposed to be his ex-wife and also dead. So it turns out James Addy was living a double life. James was dating Molly Watson for over 7 years. They were engaged a few days from a wedding. He lied to her for years, said he divorced his ex-wife and she was dead. The entire time he's still married, very much still married to his wife Melanie, the mother of his 2 children. And James's wife Melanie is shocked. 1, she never expected that her husband would be the kind of guy to cheat. 2, she never expected that he was cheating. She never saw any signs. She found out all at once that her husband of 23 years had been cheating on her for the past 7 years. That he was engaged to that woman, planned an entire wedding with her, and that woman was just found murdered 2 days before his wedding to her, and now he's a suspect for murder. And she never expected it. There were no signs that her husband was cheating, let alone all of that. I would end up thinking that I'm in the Twilight Zone, that I went into some parallel universe. And James was clearly arrested for the murder of Molly Watson. He had no alibi the night that she was murdered. He said he was out with friends and he was out of the house during the time, but then his friends that he was supposed to be with said that they were not with him. His vehicle's tires matched perfectly to tire marks found at the scene, and one of his shirts was found near Molly's body. The theory was that either Molly Watson found out that James was lying, was living this double life, and confronted him, because turns out the day before Molly Watson was murdered, she was Googling multiple times for James's ex-wife's obituary and couldn't find it because it did not exist because she was still alive. Or that James had lied himself into a corner and had run out of time and didn't know what to do, and thought that this was the only way out. Because in reality, what was James's plan? Was this always gonna end in murder in James's mind? Because if he didn't kill Molly and they got married on April 29th, she'd expect him to like live with her and be with her full time, but then how would he explain that to his other wife and his 2 children? Did James lie until he couldn't anymore and then had to choose which life and which wife he wanted more? James Addy was found guilty and was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, although he still continues to claim that he's innocent. I really hate this guy because he could have just let Molly Watson alone. He didn't have to pursue her. He didn't have to get engaged to her. He led Molly Watson on for 7 years, all the way up until it was 2 days before she thought she was gonna get married, have this fairy tale ending, and then he took her life. And he also took a mother away from her son. It really doesn't get any more evil than that. And if you watched the end of this video, thank you so much for listening to Molly Watson's story. I will see you guys tomorrow with another video.
Talk about deceitful. 7 years. 7 years planned a wedding while still living with your
Because she's trying, y'all. I mean, I pray for me.
He told me that I would lose a dog.
People respected them a lot and saw them as a couple to look up to. Unfortunately, what they portrayed to the public was far different from what was happening behind closed doors. Chris was a man with many faces. He showed his nice face when they are in public, then showed his real self when indoors. On March 22nd, during a serious argument between the couple, Teresa feared for her life and called 911, but according to the police department, the caller hung up. But when they called back, Chris picked up the phone and told them they needed nothing. But the dispatcher stated that during the call back they heard a female in the background saying, "Why do you want to kill me? I need help." Johnston County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to the home. The first officer to arrive at the scene stated he heard what appeared to be a gunshot inside the residence. When 911 operators called the home again, Chris answered. He agreed to come outside and speak with law enforcement, but never did so. Multiple attempts were made to re-establish communication with Chris inside the residence without success. The Johnston County Sheriff's Office tactical team and incident negotiators were deployed to the address for a possible hostage situation or barricaded person. Negotiators repeatedly attempted to establish communications with the individual inside the home without success. Officers obtained a search warrant and made entry into the residence. Upon gaining entry, a male and female were found deceased from apparent gunshot wounds. The decedents were identified as 53-year-old Christopher Pugh and 54-year-old Teresa Adams Pugh.
Today, police identified the married couple killed in a murder site in Johnston County. This is Christopher Pugh and Teresa Adams Pugh. They were found dead inside their home Saturday night with 911 calls causing a SWAT response. WRIO's Carly Haynes is live outside of that Garner home after speaking with family and neighbors there. Shocking all around. Very sad story, Carly.
And they still can't wrap their head around it, Dan. They say the woman in this case was a mother, she was a grandmother, and she lost her son in 2020. We asked family members more about this couple's relationship, and they say they saw no red flags. A Johnston County home, known for hosting holidays and get-togethers, sits empty.
Engaging with her family.
You know, fellas, I definitely encourage you to eventually figure this thing out, because we have so many men out here that's lost, don't know what they're doing, don't know what their purpose is in life, and they're projecting and deflecting all their flaws on women. And just like James chapter 1 verse 8, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And we have so many men that's all over the place, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, dating women. You know, so many of you find something wrong with every category of women, nitpicking and just micro-analyzing and just disqualifying women for all these crazy reasons. And like I say, if you don't want to date a woman that's a single mom, you don't want to be a stepfather, that's your preference. That's your right. That's cool. But then a lot of you will move the goalposts and criticize a woman for, I guess, being independent. You know, she's too masculine. She don't create space for you to feel needed. And I've literally heard men say stuff like, well, what you need a man for? You doing it all. You don't need me. Fellas, do you really realize how bad that sounds? How bad you look? And you got to realize that don't even make sense. Because until further notice in the meantime of a woman being taken off the market, who's going to pay her? How's she going to pay her rent? Who's going to pay her water, lights, gas, everyday cost of living? So to penalize a woman for having a skill set to provide for herself, that is insidious and diabolical to move the goalposts like that. But then on the other breath, you wouldn't want a woman that's a damsel in distress either. Because now she can't do nothing. She don't bring nothing to the table. Like, figure this out, man. And y'all wonder why women ask questions like, well, God, dog, do you like women? Are you gay? And I can't even put that on gay men, because openly gay men don't even act like this towards women. But fellas, if you at home and you closing the drawers with your hips and all that, and you asking women questions like, well, why do you think you deserve a man? And if you get with a man, what is he going to get? And what do you bring to the table? Like, ungodly sassiness. Ungodly sassiness. That's unforgivable sassiness, bruh. You need to figure out what team you play for at this point. Because the amount of goalposts moving, as a man like myself, fellas, come on now. We need more men calling this out. Men need to call out boys. We need to start calling this out, fellas, because that ain't normal. You know, I have daughters, man, that I love, and my daughters are growing up in a world with a bunch of ungodly, sassy men finding something wrong with every category of women, dude. And if you a man with daughters and you have women in your family that you love, man, y'all got to start calling this out, dude, because y'all be on this incel revenge of the nerd behavior. Like, come on now.
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I absolutely love that. And it falls so true watching these
The most dangerous thing a woman can do is learn how to love herself. Because the moment she does, she stops tolerating disrespect. She stops chasing those who never chose her. She stops settling for almost and maybe, and that's when they start to fear her. Not because she's cold, but because she's finally free. Learn to love yourself. Your freedom is in your self-love. Learn to love yourself. Your freedom is in your self-love. Learn to love yourself. Your freedom is in your self-love. Learn to love yourself. Your freedom is in your self-love. Learn to love yourself. The most dangerous thing a woman can do is learn